Hey guys, Stoic here. So today I got a villager breeder for you. I will link down in my description. This is loosely based on Freelioth's design back in 1.13. Of course, that villager breeder no longer works. And mainly the takeaway system is a system that he used on there in his 1.13 build. But as far as that, the only thing similar is the collection system. So outside of that, we've had to kind of redesign with these beds and some trapdoors and just kind of do a little bit of a redesign on how these things work. So a note though on beds and the new mechanics, you will need to make sure that these babies get 100 blocks away from this station in order for it to keep operating. So you'll notice I'm taking these way off into the sunset over there. So you'll want to make sure you put this somewhere where you won't have villagers within 100 blocks, because they will attach themselves to those beds up there that you see. I have 8 beds on there. There's only 2 villagers doing the breeding. So that just always makes sure that if I get some that are stuck, maybe which I haven't had happen, but that it gives some bandwidth to keep making baby villagers. But really, all you need is 2 beds up there for those 2 guys, and then however many beds on top of that. You need 1 more bed than any villagers you have within 100 blocks, essentially. And those guys will keep making baby villagers. The way you shut this off is you'll just take those beds off of the top there. You don't have to take all of them. You just have to take. There's 8 up there. You only have to take 6 off and leave 2 beds for those guys up there, and they won't be able to make any more babies because there won't be any more beds available. Outside of that, like I said, it's a pretty simple build. You can tell that just by looking at it. And so let's go ahead and dive on in and get you going. Alright guys, so the first thing we want to start off with is an 8x12 build area, which I've laid out with smooth stone here so you can see the grid. You want to come over to this corner here. Count 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm not using an end rod. If you are, you don't need to do this step, but it's good to have some light in here, so we're going to knock this out. I'm going to put glowstone. You can use jack-o'-lantern, sea lantern, whatever you have handy. And then you're going to go ahead and throw 2 blocks, temporary blocks there. Grab you either your end rod or iron bar or a glass pane and throw it right on top of that. Go ahead and knock out those temporary blocks underneath there, and then put 2 temporary blocks on top of that glass pane in my case. And what you're going to do is you're going to grab your trapdoors and you're going to go to the top, and this is an important step, top half, because it'll help you get your villagers in. Top half of the bottom block all the way around. You're going to go on top of, you're going to be facing the 12 block side. Doesn't matter which 12 block side, but face the 12 block side. And then what you're going to do is you're going to throw a trap door on top of there, lift it up, get rid of the block underneath it, and then make sure you're doing it the same direction for this one. Okay, this is so we can bring our villagers up in. Them being on the same side is so we can bring our villagers in. Then go ahead and knock that block out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come over to this corner here and come in 1. You're going to grab your, in my case I'm using glass blocks. You need to use glass blocks for the top row, but the bottom 2 rows it does not matter. I'm going to use glass blocks for all 3, but you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come to the back side here, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you're going to go 2, 3, 4. Sorry, on this 4th block, you're going to need to have a solid block. Okay. Then you're going to come over here. You're going to skip that corner, and this one can be glass again. Then you're just going to bring that up 3 high. Okay. I'm going to do that all the way around. All right. So now that we've got our walls all the way around, you're going to go to the opposite corner of the notched corner. You can also do this if you wish on that side. It's just completely up to you. But opposite of your notched corner, you're going to grab a water bucket and you're going to throw water in that corner. You guys have seen these collection systems before, nothing new here. The biggest thing that's new is just making this work in 1.14.3. So even I'll go ahead and say, I think, I said it in the opening, but Brilioth was the first one I've seen. And he may not be original with him, I'm not sure. But our takeaway system that we'll use will be something I've seen Brilioth do. All right, so what we're going to do now is going to grab your trapdoors, and we're going to go around the top half of these blocks and put some trapdoors in. And I am a little OCD about the direction my trapdoors face. So just as long as you get them in here, that's all that matters. Okay, just like that. All right, so now what we need to do is get our villagers up in here. And you'll see why we face these the way we did, and I'll show you the easiest way to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and set up how I do it, and then I'll be right back. All right, so here's the setup I used to get the villagers in. I got 6 temporary blocks here, 1 down there, 6 on this side, and then I just built a ramp with temporary blocks, get my rail up here. I've flipped this trapdoor up, okay? And then we just basically run him up. And then once we get up here ourselves, what I like to do is, if I can fly here. All right, take out that rail there and then fill this in with blocks. Then you're just going to take out his minecart and you're going to do your best to push him in there, and you might have to punch him. Okay? Then you're going to throw this trapdoor down, and I'll show you how we get the second one in. Alright, so we got our second villager, and we're going to just push him up into the breeder. And then we're going to come up here and try and make this easy. I'm going to basically flip this up, break the cart, push him in, punch him if I have to, flip it back down. Easy peasy, okay? Well, then we'll just get rid of all our temporary equipment we had. Alright, when I get done with that, I'll come back and we'll start on the takeaway system. Alright, so I've got everything cleaned up here. We're going to go ahead and put that back down. The other thing you want to do is put this down as well. That way when you throw them food, it doesn't fall through. And we'll wait on that. We're going to go ahead and work on the collection system. And for that, you just want to dig 2 down. Grab your redstone torch. Just put your block back on top of it. You grab your powered rail and bring it out 3 blocks. Then you're going to take this one out and this one out. And then you're going to take that out, this out, up to there. Okay? So 2 blocks outside of what's going to be your building. Okay? Because you're going to end up wanting to probably build this all up out here just to keep mobs out. Let's grab our hopper, chest, dispenser to start with. You're going to throw your, make sure that hole is facing up. And then you're going to throw a hopper into the side, a chest on top of there. We'll just put our mine carts in there. Okay. Then you're going to grab a powered rail and shift click on top of your dispenser. Grab a detector rail. And you're going to put it down there. And then you're going to continue on evacuating. However you want to evacuate them from there. However many power rails you want to use. Just use 1 and then shoot them out every so often. For ease of this tutorial, I'm just using all powered rails. I'm actually going to knock this one down. Place a block there. And then that way I can power this up. Okay. That's all powered. Out right up. Make sure you're in line with this detector rail. You're going to grab your sticky piston, put it right there, put a block in front of it, and then right here in front of your breeder, you're going to go 2 blocks high on this edge, and you're going to put a block there. Okay, so basically a block of space on each side of your rail. You're going to throw your tripwire hooks in here, and then go ahead and throw your string on there. Okay. Next thing you're going to do is grab a redstone torch, throw it on here, redstone dust, and grab your repeater, throw it down here, and go ahead and set it to 4 ticks. Okay. All right, so that is your evacuation system. That is we're going to throw down a mine cart, and what'll happen is, over here, easier. So we'll throw down a mine cart. That's going to go back and forth until it'll actually grab a baby villager out of that corner, and it'll grab an adult villager if it happens to turn into an adult while it's in there. And then what'll happen is once it turns into an adult, though, so it'll sit here going back and forth as a baby, but after 20 minutes when it turns into an adult, it'll trip that wire, opening up this block and going on its way. When it goes on its way, it's going to go over that detector rail, which is going to spit you out another minecart. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and feed these guys, and then I'm going to let this run, and I'll come back showing you run. And you can kind of hopefully see how everything works. We'll try and at least edit it to where you can see babies coming out. You can see adult villagers taking off, okay? And then, so I'm going to go ahead and put the beds up here. I'll actually go ahead and show you how I lay out the beds before we cut away. I like to maximize. So you got to have a bed for each villager. And then after that, you got to have a bed for villagers that you want to... baby villagers. Okay, so in other words, I've got what, 4 beds here now, so I've got enough for these 2 guys plus 2 more, and so they're going to start, once I feed them and they go through a day cycle, you know, have slept and all that good business, then they'll start trying to breed. All right, I put 8 on here just in case I get something happens. It looks nice. It's part of my OCD. But literally, you could get away with 3 beds as long as you're taking these villagers away. I would go with at least 4 because you get two baby villagers a day. You'll get the situation where you'll get 1 baby drop, and he'll hit the minecart, and he'll go back and forth, and then you'll have the second one drop before this one turns into an adult. So I would at least have 4 beds, but I like to go all the way around with all 8 of them. They're not exactly expensive to make, so. We'll put 8 beds around here, and that way we don't ever have any problems with this thing cutting down on us. If you do want to turn it off, just pick up your beds until you only have 2 left, and they won't make any more babies. Okay? Alright, we'll come back once these guys are actually producing some baby villagers. Alright guys, so we see some hearts. Hopefully here soon we'll see a baby villager come on out. There he is. Alright, see him float down to that corner there. I went ahead and took the minecart out just so we could see it all happen here without him getting sucked out by the minecart. So this happens about twice a day. Once in the morning, once in the afternoon. And so now I'll show you, I'll place this minecart down. You see it grab him right out of that corner. Okay. Now I'm going to see if I can trip this without stopping the minecart so you can see what happens when you become an adult. Otherwise, you got to wait forever. So when he becomes an adult, he'll trip this tripwire here. Trip this tripwire. It's great wordsmithing there. And there he goes. And I've bumped him, so it's not gonna. I don't know if it's gonna work. There he goes. Okay. There he goes on down the line. Another cart pops out, ready for the next baby. All right, so that's pretty much the build, guys. If you're looking for something, you know, bigger with where you can put a farmer in it, an entire garden. This is definitely not it, but if you're looking for something with a small footprint, this is 5x5, this breeder station here. The rest of this is just to facilitate taking it away automatically. So it's a pretty small footprint, doesn't take up much space. It, like I said in the intro, it builds a little bit on some older designs by Frilioth and some other guys in the past, but it's ready for 1.14.3. So I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please hit that like button, and even more so, if you'd like to, please subscribe. It definitely helps our channel. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.